An area businessman faces time behind bars after being charged with tax evasion.
The office has been jailed over his role in a $105 million tax evasion conspiracy. The 36-year-old was considered one of the architects of the Plutus payroll fraud and was found guilty of 2 offences earlier this year. He's been handed a sentence of 15 years with a non-parole period of 10 years.
The footage everyone's talking about. The moment Adam22's name was thrown into chaos again. A viral video, street legends, accusations of betrayal, and a media storm that no one saw coming. Is No Jumper still in control? Or is it now controlled by the streets it once tried to elevate? Adam22 has always built his empire at the intersection of media and street credibility. He wasn't just an outsider documenting culture. He immersed himself in it, made it part of his brand, and used No Jumper as a platform to showcase artists, street icons, and raw conversations that others were too scared to air. But with that access came a cost, and the latest footage going viral may have just exposed the biggest risk of all. What was once a casual invitation spiraled into a full-blown confrontation. Lush One, a familiar figure in the No Jumper ecosystem, extended what he thought was a simple nod to Travis Ford. What he didn't expect was for that nod to turn into a near takeover. Instead of a chill visit, Travis showed up with dozens of individuals, including affiliates from one of the most feared Crip sets in Los Angeles, along with a taco sponsor, a cake, film crews, branded trucks, and an unmistakable street energy that turned the office into a ticking time bomb. Adam22 completely blindsided. Was at the office with minimal staff when the wave of guests arrived. Cameras were rolling, people were live streaming, the energy was thick, and
posts on the account, and that mostly vanished overnight. And while we've been growing the new No Jumper LA account up ever since and managing to sell sponsored collab posts using my Instagram and the No Jumper LA account, DM or email if interested, we aren't making anywhere near as much from Instagram now. Side note, if you're a Meta rep, please DM me. I would love to speak to anyone who could help with this. And second, in addition to that, we have been hit with a bullshit lawsuit from a former employee. Now, essentially
Then it happened. Adam denied entry. Calm but firm, he made it clear that what was happening wasn't safe, wasn't planned, and wasn't going to be tolerated. That decision sparked instant backlash. Those turned away claimed they were invited, invested money and effort, and came not to intimidate, but to collaborate. But when the footage of that moment hit the internet, the narrative shifted. A group of Crips being blocked from No Jumper's studio? That was explosive fuel for the internet, and the backlash was immediate. Online, the story took on a life of its own. Rumors began flying. No Jumper was banned from LA. Adam22 was under threat. The platform had disrespected the wrong people. And when new footage surfaced allegedly showing Adam22 being confronted or even attacked by some of the same individuals, the internet exploded. What really happened? Was it a physical altercation or just the illusion of one? And more importantly, has the brand crossed a line it can't come back from? Adam eventually addressed the situation in a live stream, his tone serious but composed. He explained that he had no knowledge of what Lush had set in motion. There was zero planning, Adam said. I didn't even know Travis was coming. I had no clue about the trucks, the cameras, none of it. I was literally at the office with 2 people trying to handle real business, and suddenly there's a gang of people outside. I couldn't let that happen. He didn't call names.
Censored, aka nude interviews with up-and-coming superstars like Kazumi and St3bbed fell off quite a bit with the launch of Plug Talk and a decreased interest in seeing us interview stars. In addition to that, you might recall that the channel took quite a hit when approximately 8 of our hosts left the platform in March of 2023. Although we've definitely largely recovered and managed to build up a very healthy roster of talent since then, that certainly took a toll on our business for a while as well. All that stuff hurt the business, but we were still
But his words pointed squarely at Lush One. Shortly after, it was confirmed that Lush had been suspended for 1 week, but even that seemed like a light slap considering what could have gone down. The footage being shared online only raised more eyebrows. In some clips, Adam looks tense. Some viewers swear they saw someone get too close, too aggressive. Others believe the whole thing was exaggerated, just more online drama without real consequences. But perception is powerful, and in this age of viral content, perception often becomes reality. Lush later went live to tell his side. He admitted fault, said he was caught up in music, distracted, maybe even slightly under the influence. He said he never intended for things to Go that far? I told Travis, pull up with a couple homies, Lush said. Next thing I know, there's trucks and cameras and tacos and a cake. I didn't greenlight all that. I didn't talk to Adam about it. That's on me. But is that enough? Can an apology truly undo? What was unleashed? The footage of the confrontation, even if overblown, sent shockwaves. For many watching, it felt like a moment where street credibility tipped into recklessness. No jumper has always thrived on being close to the edge, but this time they may have gone over it. There's also the question of trust. Should Adam22 continue to keep people like Lush on the team? If someone can trigger a media firestorm, draw gang members to the front door, and risk the physical safety of the
all took a hit. We hired a whole bunch of editors and other employees, and we bought a huge office building that cost us almost $4 million, thinking that the growth that we were experiencing during the pandemic was going to continue. And unfortunately, that did not happen. Our YouTube numbers, which had doubled or even tripled, gradually returned to normal. Our Snapchat and Facebook numbers, which had exploded during COVID, sometimes even hitting 6 figures a month, shrank by about 80% or more. Our Patreon, which was absolutely killing it for a year or two when we were doing
team. Does loyalty still matter? Some fans argue Adam is too forgiving, that he let things slide for the sake of not causing more friction, but others think he handled it maturely. Cutting ties completely might have only escalated things further. And then there's the viral footage itself. In the clip that's making the rounds, we see Adam in the middle of a crowd. Voices are raised, there's movement, hands waving, and a few moments where it looks like things could have turned physical. It's hard to tell. The camera shakes. The audio isn't perfect, but in a world hungry for spectacle, that ambiguity only makes the footage more powerful. Some claim Adam was attacked, others say it was just street optics, people putting on a show for the camera to send a message. No punches may have been thrown, but the message was clear. No jumper is being watched and the streets are paying attention. This raises a deeper question. Who really controls the narrative now? For years, Adam22 was the one curating the content, choosing who to spotlight, framing the storylines. But when you get too close to the fire, sometimes it's the fire that starts writing the script. The footage, the rumors, the threats, these things take on lives of their own. And even the most controlled platform can lose control when public perception shifts. Adam tried to cool the situation. He connected with Travis Ford on a call. According to Adam, they hashed it out, at least temporarily. He said it's all love, but I can tell.
So there's something that I've been hiding from you guys. No Jumper is going broke. I know that might sound crazy. Between both of our YouTube channels last month, we got over 25 million views. We're doing well on Facebook and Snapchat. We employ quite a few of the hottest content creators on the West Coast, and we pump out an insane amount of content on a weekly basis. How could we be going broke? Well, let's start here. We expanded too much during COVID at just about the exact moment that our revenue streams all—
Oh, there's still tension, Adam noted. We're cool, but we're not good. There's a difference. It's that difference that now looms over everything. Whether or not No Jumper is officially banned from LA, the perception that it could be, especially with footage showing intense confrontations, is already doing damage. There's hesitation, uncertainty. Guests are reconsidering whether they want to appear on the platform. Some fans are wondering if No Jumper is still about interviews, or if it's becoming a battleground. At the heart of all this is a simple but powerful tension. When you build your brand on authenticity, how do you manage the risks that come with it? Adam22 has always said he wants to give people a voice, to give the streets a platform, but when the platform starts to feel like a war zone, who benefits? And who pays the price? In a world where one viral clip can change everything, the footage of Adam22 at the center of chaos may become a turning point. Whether it leads to a rebrand, a hard reset, or a doubling down remains to be seen. But one thing is clear. This wasn't just a miscommunication, it was a warning shot. As the dust settles, the internet continues to debate. Was this really an attack, or was it just optics amplified by the hunger for drama? Was Adam22 targeted, or did he walk into a situation of his own making? And most importantly, where does No Jumper go from here? For now, the footage lives on, shared, rewatched, dissected.
Solidly profitable. That is, until the last few months, where we experienced two major L's that we never could have seen coming. First, we lost the No Jumper Instagram. After almost 10 years of building it up and essentially no strikes on our account, we got taken down one day and we still have absolutely no idea why. We've had no luck getting it back despite being in contact with what seems like every Instagram recovery guy on the face of the planet. We were bringing in a very solid amount of cash monthly that was keeping us afloat via selling sponsors.
And so does the question that hangs over every frame. Is this the moment Adam22 lost control of the story? If you want to keep up with the real stories behind the headlines and hear the truth before it trends, make sure to subscribe to my channel. You won't want to miss what comes next. The moment the footage hit the internet, the energy in the room shifted. Every scroll, every click, every repost added fuel to a fire that had been quietly burning beneath the surface for years. Adam22, the man behind No Jumper, found himself at the epicenter of a viral storm. But this wasn't your typical internet drama. This time, the streets were watching. This time, reputations were at stake. And this time, the very survival of one of the most influential platforms in hip-hop media hung in the balance. When Adam22 created No Jumper, he built it on the idea of giving a voice to the streets. From underground rappers to controversial street figures, the platform became known for raw, unfiltered conversations. What started in a BMX shop grew into a full-blown media empire, known for exposing raw truths, breaking new talent, and diving headfirst into the culture without hesitation. It was exciting, dangerous, and authentic, but as the brand grew, so did the risks. The recent viral footage, allegedly showing Adam22 being confronted by Crip-affiliated individuals after a chaotic miscommunication involving Travis Ford and Lush One, shook the foundation of the
etc. And buying a space that cost that much didn't seem like a bad idea. It didn't seem like it was something that could potentially hurt the business. I also felt like we were growing so much and scaling up that we needed more and more room to grow. After 3 years in the same space, it's just kind of more clear to me that I know what this business is now. There's only so much content that we're going to be able to produce that is going to be profitable. And as a result, we just don't need a space that big. And granted,
that empire. As the video made rounds on social media, speculation exploded. Was Adam really attacked? Was No Jumper officially banned from LA? And more importantly, who controls the narrative now? For years, Adam22 held the reins. He decided who sat in the interview chair, who got exposure, and how stories were told. But with this new footage, everything changed. Suddenly, Adam wasn't telling the story. He was in the story. The power to shape public perception began slipping through his fingers, overtaken by viral clips, public speculation, and street voices who felt disrespected or excluded. The very street figures No Jumper helped elevate were now potentially rewriting the brand's story without Adam's input. In a live stream following the incident, Adam addressed the chaos head on. It was never supposed to go down like that. I didn't invite anyone. I wasn't prepared. When 40 people show up with cameras and trucks, you gotta make a decision. I had to protect the space and my people. He sounded composed but frustrated. You could hear the weight of it all in his voice. I didn't create No Jumper to be a war zone. This was never supposed to be about beef or street politics. Yet, despite the clarity of his statement, many weren't convinced. The internet doesn't wait for explanations. Narratives are built in real time, and the image of Adam22 being surrounded or pressed by street figures had already taken on a life of its own. In that moment,
okay, we have it, fine, it's an investment, but you know, it would feel better to me to be in a space that was realistically, you know, like the room we're in, maybe 2 of the rooms that we're in right now would be enough for me to get by on. And yeah, I've just seen that with a lot of businesses over the years where it really fucks them over when they decide that they want to overinvest into their space, etc. So revealed all that in the video, and you know, there's always
Adam wasn't the host. He was the subject, and the streets weren't just participating in No Jumper anymore. They were leading the conversation. This shift highlights a deeper issue at play: clout chasing and gang culture and its increasing presence. On platforms like No Jumper, what once started as a space for authentic voices and honest storytelling has slowly morphed into a battleground for reputation, dominance, and visibility. Being seen on No Jumper isn't just about telling your story anymore. It's about making a statement, about being recognized, about power. As more individuals connected to street life gain access to digital platforms, the incentive structure changes. Visibility becomes currency, influence becomes leverage, and a single viral moment can cement someone's status in a way that years of grind can't match. This reality creates a dangerous loop where content isn't driven by storytelling, but by shock value, where interviews become flexes, where presence becomes intimidation, and where the platform itself risks being hijacked for agendas far beyond media. Adam22 himself seemed aware of this shift. We give people a voice, he said, but we can't let that turn into chaos. I respect the culture, but there has to be boundaries. Otherwise, this whole thing falls apart. His words were calm, but the tension was undeniable. Because behind those boundaries lies a question that now...
Yes.
Yeah. That was our last big hurrah. That's a fact.
Okay, now you and I had this conversation about this. So I have an interesting perspective on it. And I was kind of playing with it on Twitter. I was like, should I buy No Jumper? Then I'm like, oh, I'm finalizing the sale of No Jumper. What job should I give Adam? Because I knew the comments were going to be comedy.
A couple people hit me up. You need to fade Vlad for this. I'm like, that is not the appropriate conclusion.
Haunts the platform. Can No Jumper survive without the chaos? That brings us to the most difficult question of all. Where does No Jumper go from here? Is it time for a full rebrand, a shift away from street-heavy content, a safer, more curated version of the platform that once thrived on unpredictability? Or has the brand already gone too far down the road to turn back? Should Adam22 double down, embrace the chaos, and accept that danger and drama are now part of the DNA? Both paths carry risk. Rebranding could alienate the core audience that made No Jumper successful. It could be seen as a betrayal of authenticity, a pivot away from the very community the platform was built to support. On the other hand, doubling down means accepting the risk of future confrontations, potential legal threats, and a growing perception that No Jumper is less a media outlet and more a magnet for street beefs and viral tension. Adam seems torn. In one interview, he reflected on the platform's identity. We're not CNN. We're not trying to sanitize the culture, but we also have to grow up. If this thing is going to last, we can't keep playing with fire. That statement resonates because the reality is No Jumper isn't a basement podcast anymore. It's a business, it's a brand, it's a target, and with visibility comes vulnerability. The footage of Adam being confronted didn't just threaten his safety, it threatened his leadership, his credibility, his authority.
For you to come to here. This is all fun and games. Trust me.
Yeah, no, I wasn't even considering buying No Jumper. This was not a serious conversation. Although a couple people did hit me. Like on the street, be like, yo, man, you really buy No Jumper? I'm like, no, I'm not really buying it. But there are some money problems at No Jumper, which you have revealed publicly. That was your choice.
Yeah, it's funny seeing people try to dunk on me where it's like, bro, I chose to share this with the world, so clearly I'm not too embarrassed about it. But
authority. Fans are watching closely. Some are loyal, defending Adam's decision to shut down the unsanctioned visit as professional and necessary. Others feel the spark is fading, that No Jumper is losing the raw edge that made it famous. Still others think the platform needs to evolve or risk becoming irrelevant in a world where the streets now have their own cameras, their own live streams, their own voices. It's a crossroads moment, one where every decision made now will echo in the months to come. Will Adam22 tighten the reins and take full control back? Will he reestablish clear boundaries between content and chaos? Or will he let the streets continue to guide the narrative, accepting that sometimes the most powerful stories are the ones you don't script? Whatever happens next, one thing is clear. The taped footage was more than just a viral clip. It was a wake-up call, a challenge, a message from the culture No Jumper helped spotlight, reminding the platform that authenticity comes with consequences. Adam22's next moves will determine everything: the trust of the audience, the safety of his staff, the relevance of his brand, and perhaps most importantly, whether No Jumper remains a media empire or becomes a cautionary tale. If you want the truth behind the headlines, the real stories behind the viral moments, and the raw, unfiltered breakdowns no one else is willing to give you, make sure you subscribe to this channel. Stay locked in. What's coming next might just change everything.